There's a moment most people don't notice they're doing it. Someone bumps into you on the street. And before they can even turn around, you say it. Sorry, not them. You apologize for existing in the space you were standing in, and you move on. And you forget it happened. But it happened. Again, there's a particular kind of person who lives inside a constant, quiet negotiation with the world. Not loud, not dramatic, just perpetually aware of the possibility that they are too much, or not enough, or somehow always slightly in the way. This is what psychologists call anxious attachment to approval. But that clinical label doesn't quite capture it. It isn't just anxiety. It's something more refined than that. It's a social intelligence that learned early on that conflict has a cost. And that the cheapest way to avoid that cost is to offer yourself as the problem first. Think about where that begins. For a lot of people, it starts before they even have language for it. A household where tension was unpredictable. A parent whose mood shifted without warning. A classroom where standing out felt dangerous. An environment where keeping the peace meant quietly erasing the parts of yourself that caused friction. The apology was never really about guilt. It was about safety. It was a small, intelligent act of emotional management, and it worked. So it stayed. By adulthood, it has become invisible. It lives in the prefix of every request. Sorry to bother you, but it lives in the way you preemptively shrink your needs before voicing them. I don't know, maybe this is a bad idea, but it lives in the way you over-explain, over-justify, and over-qualify as if existing without an explanation might somehow be the wrong thing to do. Research in attachment theory, notably work building on Bowlby and later expanded by researchers like Kim Bartholomew, shows us something important here. The strategies we develop to maintain connection in early relationships become templates. They generalize. They stop being responses to specific situations. They become personality. And here's where it gets interesting. Because most people who over-apologize are told they need more confidence, more assertiveness. Just speak up. Just stop saying sorry so much, as if the behavior is careless. As if it's a habit to simply break. But that misses the point entirely. Over-apologizing isn't weakness. It is, in the truest sense, a form of emotional literacy that never got updated. You learn to read rooms with extraordinary precision. You learn to anticipate discomfort before it arrived. You learn to manage other people's emotional states before managing your own. That's not a deficit. That's a skill that was demanded of you too early. The real issue isn't that you feel too much. It's that you were taught that your feelings were the ones most expendable in the room. And that deserves to be said clearly. If you have spent years making yourself smaller to keep others comfortable, if the phrase, "I'm sorry," has become less about remorse and more about survival, then what you're carrying isn't weakness. It's exhaustion from a job you were never meant to hold alone. The healing, if we can call it that, doesn't come from simply stopping. It comes from noticing. Noticing the moment before the apology arrives. That half-second of instinct. Asking, is this guilt? Or is this just the old reflex doing what it always does? You don't need to fix yourself loudly. Small pauses. Quiet awareness. Replacing sorry for asking with thank you for your time. Not because the words are magic, but because the shift in language reflects a shift in position. From apologizing for needing to acknowledging the exchange, that's different, that's real. And slowly, over time, the negotiation gets quieter. The world doesn't demand the apology you've been offering it. It never did. You were just taught that it might. If this resonated with something you've been carrying for a while, stay a little longer. There's more here worth sitting with.